everyone, and welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I was thinking we could continue talking and discussing about the feminine archetypes. So for today, I thought we could move on to the mystique feminine archetype. So this is a part of the 7 feminine archetypes. These are the one of the Aisha K. Fines found inspiration from and then expanded to her 13 feminine seduction archetypes, which I've done a lot of videos about before, which you can check out on my channel. But the mystique feminine archetype is one of the 7 feminine archetypes, so it's one of the mains. And I thought the best example I could find that would be interesting to dissect would be Zoe Kravitz as an example of somebody that is in their mystique feminine archetype. Zoe Kravitz is probably very much known for being an actress. She sings a little bit as well. She's been in movies such as Divergent, which is one of my favorite movies. And she's also been in other movies such as X-Men. She's been in The Batman, and she's been in High Fidelity, which is also a really good TV show that I really enjoyed. And I thought she would be a really interesting example of somebody that is just effortlessly in their mystique and what it represents. And when we think of the mystique feminine archetype, this is a person that is creative, she's individualistic, she's extremely independent, so she kind of just goes with the flow in her life, and whatever feels right to her, that's what she will go towards. So, number 1. The mystique feminine archetype usually values being creative and independent. So, and also individualistic. That is a really important point to a mystique. So one quote that I really love that Zoe Kravitz says is that she describes herself as a total weirdo and have often felt like an outcast and a freak. And I love that. It makes things so much more exciting. So this is very much a mystique, thinks this way. They love being themselves unapologetically. They like the things that make them uniquely different from other people because that makes them more of an individual. So if you meet a mystique, she most likely enjoys being the person that doesn't always fit everywhere. She takes so much pride in how different she is and how much of an individual she is, and she enjoys that. And she doesn't care if it makes other people feel uncomfortable, because to her, she values being herself and understands how important that is. Especially today, I feel like in today's society, people conform a lot and people try to blend in as much and don't want to stick out. And of course, that's so understandable, especially as women as well, because we are taught to not be too much and not to feel too much, or not to be anything really, not to truly have a personality. But a mystique doesn't believe in that. She believes that life is meant to be experienced and life is meant to be in total tune with yourself. And so they value this side of themselves. They think it's a beautiful part of themselves to be that. And if they attract people in their lives, they'll know that it's genuine because they are themselves and they're not trying to put up this facade. And if they also repel people, it's because they are authentic again, and they want to make sure that people understand that they're not going to change themselves for other people or to make people feel comfortable. Instead, they're going to be themselves and they're going to enjoy being themselves, and that's what a mystique really loves to live their lives in that way. So with that being said, I also feel like with Zoe Kravitz, you can definitely see that in her fashion choice as well. She is very much known for having her own unique style. And when I look through her outfits, it's not like they're overly, extravagant or anything like that. There are a lot of basics and kind of like neutral. But she does it in a way where it feels like it's natural and genuinely her own style. Not like she's copying from somebody else or she is trying to blend in with the trends. Instead, she follows her own style and her own way of dressing. And I think that kind of translates to her mystique, is that they value so much being an individual and being different. and being themselves, and they encourage that in other people as well. So I definitely take inspiration from that, and I think it's a beautiful thing as well. So another thing with the mystique is you'll find that they have a lot of unique needs for themselves. And what I mean with that is they have these sets of needs and they're not afraid to express them no matter how unique they are. So to them, possibly being alone is a need to them, and they don't care if that is something that other people don't understand, why they need to be alone and by themselves. They have this need and they're going to fulfill it because that's what's going to make them feel good in life. So value your own unique needs, whatever they might be. Maybe you have this need to move around or dance or just be by yourself or explore different things in life. That is your need as a human, and in a way that is your mind and your body telling you the needs that it has. So exploring that and truly prioritizing your needs is such an important thing for a mystique, because they understand that if their needs are not met, they're not going to be happy in life and they're not going to be fully in their feminine as well. So one quote that I really love that Zoe Kravitz said is, "I'm happy to just sit in a cafe and watch people. It's my favorite thing to do for sure." And I love this because it once again kind of explores what it means to be a mystique and to have this need to be themselves, no matter how different it might be to other people, or no matter how it's perceived by other people as well. And I think that is an inspiration. So to, be able to sit in a cafe by yourself and not being too worried about how it's being perceived by other people is a show. I think it shows confidence, and it shows your ability to be by yourself, to love being by yourself in your own company, and to be confident and not care about perceptions, because you are fulfilling your own needs in life. That's your first goal and that's your first priority. And it also makes you magnetic as well, I think, as a mystique, because people can't figure you out in a way. Because you're not explaining why you need your needs fulfilled. You just have your needs and you follow them, and if somebody doesn't get them, they don't waste their time trying to explain it or trying to make people understand them. They know that life is too short and I need to make myself happy, and in a way it makes people more gravitated towards you, and that in a way kind of seduces people to you. They become even more attracted to you because they realize that this person has something figured out. They prioritize themselves, and so it makes people also realize how important you are. So the next thing with the mystique is they're very intuitive, and this is probably one of my favorite things with the mystique, is just the fact that they prioritize their intuition. They love to listen to their intuition, their inner voice, and really follow it. Because I think for women especially, we have this inner voice in us that tells us what decisions to make, what feels right, what doesn't feel right. And unfortunately, a lot of outside factors teach us not to follow that and to ignore it. And they use, arguments such as intuition is not logical and it's not based on logic. But I completely disagree. I think your intuition is something that you have because your subconscious is picking up on something that your conscious probably can't. And so because of that, your intuition is kind of warning you, and it's kind of making you safe and taking care of you. So embracing your intuition and being intuitive is such an important skill to have, that every woman, I believe, has, but has to be able to kind of train it and make it stronger, and not suppress it, and don't ignore it for sure. Every decision I've made in life where I've followed my intuition have been the best decisions in my life, and the decisions that I've made that I've considered to be mistakes have been the ones where I completely ignored my intuition. So that is my example and my proof that intuition is important. And one thing that Zoe Kravitz says was, "I'm only at the beginning of my career, but I feel successful in that I haven't sold out in any way, shape, or form. I feel good about the choices I've made, and I don't feel like I've let go of any of my values." So I feel like that about Zoe Kravitz is that she understands how important it is, your feelings, your intuition, your your mind. It's all guiding you through life and how to understand yourself and how to understand your surroundings and understand what you want, because it can be difficult to go through things and not be affected by everybody else's opinions and everybody else's thoughts. But at the end of the day, you have to listen to that inner voice within yourself that's telling you what's right for you and that cares about you, because that's what's going to get you far through life. And if you're able to do that, you'll see your life transform in such a positive way. And you kind of also making sure that your inner peace is being prioritized. So developing that intuition, listening to it and letting it guide you can serve you in so many ways. So another thing with the Mystique feminine archetype is that they value deep subjects and they hate superficial things. So one thing I really enjoy about them is that a Mystique doesn't care for the superficial. They don't care about showing people that they're living a good life. Instead, they're too busy actually living that good life, which I completely respect and I admire as well. They're not, if you have a conversation with a Mystique, you'll see that they're mostly only invested in conversations that are deep, that have meaning, and that really speaks to their soul. So if you ever try to have a superficial conversation with them, they're not gonna be interested or intrigued with you. Actually, they'll kind of be unimpressed. They'll think that this person is not on my mental level. I want to interact with people that mentally stimulate me and that makes me feel more intelligent, that challenges me and makes me think more. They value these types of topics more. And one thing Zoe Kravitz said is, you can tell when someone is driven by labels. If something is couture, they think it's important and wear it, and sometimes makes a terrible fashion mistake. People are shocked that I know so little about designers. And I love that, because Zoe Kravitz, she is a nepo baby. Her parents are both famous. Her parents is, Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. So she has grown up with a lot of, designers, probably a lot of money, access, and all of these things that a regular person can only dream of. But even with all of this, she kind of shows this image of how unimportant it is, and that in the bigger picture of things, it doesn't really matter. But what matters is your soul and what you bring to the table mentally, and what conversations you're able to have, and just on a deeper level, who are you? Because all of these labels, all of this physical material can be taken away from you, but one thing that people can never take away from you is your knowledge. So if you're able to really hone that and kind of understand that, you'll start valuing your brain. I love this one thing Salma Hayek said once, which is the most expensive thing she was wearing when she was on a red carpet was her brain. And I thought that was an amazing quote. Like I thought it really shows to perspective how important your mind is, and being able to hold conversations with meaning, because it will make you feel more fulfilled in conversations with people, and it's also going to make you feel like you have a purpose in life as well. So don't shy away from deep conversations. Even if you don't have a lot of knowledge about certain topics people are talking about, make sure to still join the conversation. Start off with being like, oh, I don't know so much about this specific topic, but I'm willing to listen and learn about it. And then you'll see people start to open up, and they'll say, oh, this person is so interested and actually wants to learn. Let me try to teach them and make them engaged about this. So it's a perfect opportunity for you to not only network with people, but also learn more about things and be open to just gaining more knowledge, instead of being in a conversation where, number one, you don't know anything about it, so you just kind of like zone out, or number two, that you start discussing and you don't really feel like you have your facts in order, so you might feel less confident. So the best thing is just open up to people in a way where you're like, I think this conversation is so interesting, but I don't feel like I'm informed enough about it. But I would love to be more informed. And you'll see people start to light up because people love to teach people things and love to learn about things. So being able to acknowledge that you also want to learn about things is going to make you more likable and more magnetic as well. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and this was a lot of fun to make as well. Please do let me know what else you want me to make, and make sure to also subscribe, like, and share. Comment down below, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Bye.